The following is a podcast from a qualified senior care provider heard on the Answers for Elders radio show.
And welcome everyone to Answers for Elders Radio Network. Also heard on Google, iTunes, Apple, Spotify, and many, many more podcast channels. So you can absolutely tune in. And today we have a brand new guest with us who has been around our industry for quite a while. And I actually met her a very long time ago when I first started Answers for Elders. And I was incredibly impressed with this guest that we have on today. And her name is Tracey Harvey. And Tracy, you are the Regional Vice President of Marketing and Strategic Planning Northwest. That's a big title for a brand new organization called Cadence Living. Tracy, welcome to Answers for Elders.
Thank you very much, Suzanne.
You're very welcome. We're very excited to have you with us because some very exciting things are happening to our area. And certainly we always say the boomers, it's like they say 10,000 people per day is turning 65 in this country. The silver tsunami is upon us. And there's a lot of new innovations, new things that are happening in wellness as we get to know a little bit more about how to help the aging process and help a better quality of life. And I think one of the things that when I first met you, Tracy, a long time ago, I was brand new to the industry. I was, came out of a media vice president type position in the corporate world. But what I didn't really necessarily know was all the nuances and the innovations going on. And you, when I met you was for the first time, you were with another organization, but you introduced this term vitality to me and fitness and wellness and all of these things that just really resonated with me. And so many of us here in Greater Puget Sound, so many of us are into a higher quality of life and wellness and living here. Obviously, a lot of us live here due to the proximity of the mountains and the quality of life that we have here in the Pacific Northwest. So having you on the show is just a real treat for me. So Tracy, you are now with Cadence, and tell us a little bit now about your path and why you came to this organization, and tell us about Cadence Living.
Well, thank you, Suzanne, for that. And I do recall our meeting, and kudos to you for all you've done with the industry in the time that has passed since we've seen each other. And Cadence Senior Living, we are a newcomer on the block, so to say. We are going on 5 years, I believe it is, our company. Our principals have roots in the Northwest, and so that was the purpose for trying to have a lovely building, modern senior living building that we've built here in Kent.
I love
that.
But
we do have so many locations around the country that really the intent for Cadence Senior Living was to bring modern aging and how we really think that resort style living should be for our seniors and our elders.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that there's not wonderful products out there right now, but it was just a new way of thinking and very innovative way of thinking, which drew me here. And that was what drew me to the industry when I met you as well, was that philosophy was very unique and new to the industry, less clinical, more wellness driven, healthy food driven, and really proprietary program driven. So it was really important that I aligned with the company and the senior living space that had those same principles in mind. And I'm just so thrilled that Cadence does. And that is why I'm so proud to be part of the Cadence family, because really it is a symphony of wonderful programs, and it's what makes our product very unique for retirement living.
It's interesting that you say that, because a lot of us, I remember being the family caregiver for my mom. And it's interesting. I wrote a little thing on social media yesterday for International Women's Day, because primarily women are the primary caregivers for their loved ones. And not always, but usually it is. And I sit back and I think about, how hard it is for families. And I know I went through it. So many go through it. But the number one thing I think that we can all agree on is that we want the best quality of life for a loved one. And a lot of times that it's fear that drives families to say, well, I'm the only one that can provide that, because I know what my parent wants. But the thing that's really incredible about organizations like you is that you have the ability to make a better quality of life than even family members can provide, because you get to be the daughter. You're not stressed out. You're not in a situation where you have to give up your career or anything like that. You get to have balance in your life. So you're coming with your loved one from a space of, not frustration and not, resentment and not any of those things. It actually provides a better quality relationship for you and your loved one. And I think sometimes families don't see that. Are you finding that true in many cases?
Yeah, you're spot on. That is exactly what happens. And, there's so many wonderful dynamics in a family that we all know of, but you're exactly right. And I think the number one thing is they want quality of life for their loved one. But the most rewarding thing I can say to date, and I just coming off one of those tours, is when you have those proactive families that are in it together collectively, wanting the best life and wanting to look ahead for their loved one, their mother and father that are in their 60s or 70s. They're planning now because they don't want to burden their children.
No, they don't.
They want to be close, but not close was the term just used. They want to have resort style living. The term was just used too. It's a cruise ship without the sail.
Yeah.
And these are the individuals that what we coin modern senior living. They're modern agers, they're active agers. They don't see themselves in a nursing home. But that is really the number one reason why people should look into retirement living and look into the different options there are, because it's not the way it used to be.
Sure.
And I think that's really what resonates mostly with families that we're touring and around the country, right?
Yeah.
They want the very best. And especially coming off COVID, it was an isolating time. And I think families and loved ones that believe I hear this all the time, my loved one, my parent is an introvert. Well, it's so interesting how that counteracts one another, because they're coming out of COVID and they didn't realize going to the grocery store isn't a form of socialization. They want someone else. They need team members that are passionate about what they do so they can have everything at their fingertips, but not have to lift a finger. Yeah. So it's really, really key that, the loved ones do know their loved ones, but at the same time, adult children don't always know what the best thing is for their parents.
Right. And I think the other thing that I think we've all realized is that socialization means a lot more than sometimes we used to think that it did.
Like dancing. It's not just dancing.
I think what happened with the whole world of the pandemic is there's a lot of good things that happen. In my opinion, number one, I really think that our seniors started to embrace technology that they never knew that they could. They can get on a Zoom call. They're willing to open up their computer and reach out on the internet. And those are the nice things about that, is having that thing. But I think the other thing is there's a recognition, like what you talked about, to crave a community, to have that connection. And of course, we've tried to do that with therapy dogs, which is really great. And that's been a huge hit in our world of being able to bring, dogs into communities. And by the way, we will come and visit you if you want to have us. But the nice thing about that is that, it's having that connection to the community, having that, the ability to really, show that they matter and have that. And you use the term, and I want to close out this segment, and we have about, 4 minutes left. And I'd really like to talk to you about the term vitality. You use it a lot. But I'm not sure how maybe people make the connection with our seniors and what that lifestyle would be. So how would you define that?
Vitality is really just actively aging. We're all aging, but we all want to be as mobile as we can. So regardless of your ability, there's ways that you can maintain your strength and stamina through whatever dimension of wellness you're speaking of, whether it's physical, intellectual, vocational, occupational. So it's really important that I think we all just crave that curiosity in life still. And we just don't stop moving. Really, that's what vitality is all about. It's just it's going to mean and be defined differently by everyone.
Right. And I think the thing, when we talk about that, those that suffer from arthritis, movement is your best form of keeping the pain at bay. And I think that's one of the things I know that who is an arthritis sufferer, I know that if I've been sitting a long time, I get up and I am in so much pain. And I think a lot of times, we don't think about those things as we're taking care of a loved one. The other thing, hydration is so valuable and important. And all of those things that by having a loved one in your community like that, in a community like that, you guys have trained professionals that can keep that, that elevated vitality to their ability. And I think that's what's so important. So Tracy, you guys are about to open in the wonderful area of Kent, and we're going to talk about your location. But in the meantime, you have some specials happening. You're giving tours. Tell us a little bit about what's going on down in Kent.
Oh, yes, we are thrilled to be. I don't think Kent has had a new community for really
not forever.
Independent and assisted living in 20 years. So we are thrilled to be that product for them. Anyone over
Awesome.
60 can come and look and tour. We have a temporary license right now, and we're anxiously awaiting our full license. And so hopefully very soon, but we're still touring, and we have a wonderful Founders Club program that we're promoting. And that is really what's happening daily, why it's such a busy thing coming. If you hear any things coming, the bells coming on, that's because people are coming in the door.
That is so cool. And, to each and every one of our listeners, I always say, even if mom or dad aren't ready yet, it's a good idea to go just take a little tour to see what could be down the road, and let them know that I want you to know that this is the most respectful thing you can do for your loved one, is to include them in early planning. So when and if, it doesn't mean that it's going to happen, but at least you have a plan moving forward. And so, Tracy, I'm so excited you're with us this hour. We're going to talk a lot about the whole dynamic, amazing property that's going in Kent. And Tracy and I will be right back right after this.
Answers for Elders radio show with Suzanne Newman hopes you found this podcast useful in your journey of navigating senior care. Check out more podcasts like this to help you find qualified senior care experts in areas of financial, legal, health and wellness, and living options. Learn about our radio show, receive promotional discounts, and meet our experts by clicking on the banner to join the Senior Advocate Network at AnswersForEldersRadio.com. Now there is one place to find the Answers for Elders.